All right. This is just a impromptu KJF early late game. You'll see it's only round 9, but we're already in an advanced late game stage. Um, I'm Axis actually in this game. Uh, the real fast super scenario is that um, Allies had a bad R1, which I was able to take advantage of to lead that led to Germany taking Russia on 6, Germany 6, but I forget it was round 2, 3, 4, somewhere. I forget where anywheres. The good old KJF battle. Japan had a horrendous battle in the Pac fleet. It had to have been like 2. I think it was actually turn 2, maybe 3. But U.S. anyways, they were on the islands on like 3 or something or other and had it stacked and been developing since. So I mean, this has been a very accelerated game. That being said, I'm going to take this piece by piece because this whole picture is pretty interesting. But before I go and show everything, I'm just going to take it piece by piece. So the interesting thing here is, so you'll see I have 8 bombers and 4 fighters on here. Because he is investing heavily in the Pacific, he did not get a big Atlantic fleet up and going. And by the time I took Moscow, I was able to go ahead and just build bombers in dead zone and really be threatening a sea line. Now by placing his transports and moving things around, he's kept a sea line at, if I went all in, it'd be like a 50-50, which I really felt behind and still feel a little behind in this game overall. And maybe I should have taken it. I'm trying to play a little bit of a different game. So his fleet now is down here. So here's his fleet that he's got. He's got a destroyer cruiser carrier still alive. He had a U.S. destroyer in here as well, which he lost to my battleship heroically. The battleship, my last term, I had my battleship sitting in 14 and it killed a U.S. destroyer and 2 subs attacking it. I then moved the battleship here to 8 because I was going to die no matter what because he had 2 more subs and a bomber coming. So the battleship was due to die. His UK fleet was sitting here in 10. So I at least just wanted to make him have to sacrifice one of his fleet defending units, and as it is, he lost a fighter, killing my battleship. So I'm fine with that. I'd rather him lose a fighter than lose a sub, right? So that's what we did there. But this fleet was sitting up in 10. I did have my bombers previously down here, and he tucked his U.S. transport in 1 where I couldn't reach him. So this last turn, I intentionally moved my bombers up here to dead zone, C zone 1 and 10, as well as everything around the UK here. So now his fleet's down here. If I put my bombers in France, they're going to dead zone this C zone as well. And so he either has to retreat back towards US, which is what he's indicating he'll end up doing because he just built this carrier. So I'm going to make US start have to invest money in the Atlantic heavily, and that also will push them next turn. See, these transports could still drop for defense of a sea line attempt. If I dead zone here, I'm going to dead zone everything within reach of the UK. So now the transports are going to be pulled out. So these 5 units will be pulled out of range of the sea line defense. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, is now shifting these guys, now that they did their job up here dead zoning C zone 1, to come on down and work on dead zoning the mid Atlantic now. So we got the North Atlantic carrier, now the mid Atlantic. So the big thing here is Germany Axis in the KJF, their weakness is having too many fronts. Really, Germany having too many fronts. So allies want to create as many fronts as they can. So they want to create a front in uh, Western Europe. They want to create a front in Africa. They want to create a front in Asia, possibly North and South Asia, and just make Germany really have to spread their units out, which you can already kind of get a preview. You can see I am getting kind of spread out there. He's doing a good job. But at least here I've taken out the Western Europe component of it, and I'm going to bring him down and hopefully take out his ability to reinforce Africa, which I have a series of units coming in here. So his only way to reinforce Africa will be by pulling units from the Pacific and Asia over. And if he uses his 5 transports to come over, then he's going to be slow taking units off of his production colonies. So that's what this is all about, is just kind of showing this bomber build and how you can really dead zone the North Atlantic, dead zone the Mid Atlantic, and now I really do got a sea line potential threat hanging over them. I can't do it quite yet this turn because of these 2 fighters and these 5 units that he could pull back in, um, but I'm close, right? So we'll see. Of course, this sub's going to come around, and now that's going to start to make it more of a dead zone. And so I don't know that I'll ever actually get the sea line attempt that I want to get off, but at the very least, we're going to minimize this front. We have been bombing away on UK, making them spend money to rebuild it. So the next piece of the puzzle is my African invasion force coming in. So it's a bit tricky because I have to remember he could pull 10 units through, plus he's got 8 fighters and a bomber, all that could come through here. So I had to have a big enough force to be able to walk through this dead zone, this deadly part here, um, while doing that. At the very least, I hope to be able to just take North Africa, continue to keep 13 dead zoned, and put up a defense in here, and hopefully I don't get too cornered. Um, so yeah, and then of course, then this brings this tricky situation. So the Germans were chasing the Russians, and the Russians slipped down, which so I do get my Japan factory, so I'm getting a couple Japan ground to turn in here. But now this is going to create a thorn, and as U.S. moved back here, they were in India, they moved back this way. So now China's in my big weakness. Unfortunately, I was trying to use my Japan bombers to drain money from the Allies by hitting factories. I've lost 3 bombers in 4 attempts. So that kind of stinks. But anyways, so it looks like I'll be able to take these guys over. These guys bring my 2 planes in, and I'll be able to stack here. I'll be able to stack here and shift these guys and stack here. So I'm going to try and stack 1, 2, 3. These 2 stacks will also dead zone this guy with bombers all the way from France, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll have this guy dead zoned, and we'll have this dead zone stack, stack, stack. So we're going to force the Russians this direction. Of course, this means I'm giving up all of this, right? Because he's going to have that capability. If I move these guys up, well, 1, I wouldn't be able to stack here, but 2, the Americans could come up and kill him. So he's probably going to go ahead and grab Manchuria while the Russians eat away that up there now. So just kind of shows an advanced multi-level battle going on here. I thought it was kind of interesting. Just wanted to throw this out there for your guys' viewpoints. You can say what you want, think what you want, throw any strategies out there that you want. But anyways, thought it was an interesting looking kind of early late game KJF from my Axis perspective. I really, this part, I'm really trying to prevent these armies from merging, right? That's what I want to try to put a wedge. So that's why I want to get my stack here so that he can't just plow right on through and then merge them together. If I do this and I force the Russians here on R10, the Americans move here, US 9, and then US 10, they come in, and R11, they come over. That's my concern, if I can get enough to dead zone Kwang Tung here on G/J11. I don't know if I'll be able to. We're gonna try. This is a league game. I'm not putting I'm not over efforting, and I could sit here and try and build out the calculators and figure it out. I'm not going to do that much. We're just going to play it out and see what happens. The good news is I don't need all 5 of these tanks, so some of these tanks are going to be coming back. I do want to keep 1 tank so that I can blitz through North Africa. But otherwise, most of these tanks I'm actually going to pull back now that I made it through the dangerous territory. So anyways, there you go. Here's the whole big picture. I don't think I missed. I think I hit all the zones of importance there. We're looking good here controlling the Atlantic, but he's definitely controlling Southeast Asia and the Pacific, and he's going to be taking over China and Northeast Asia. Hopefully I'll be taking Africa. And then also I do plan on keeping my Air Force in range to try to make him have to invest between the dwindling now, unfortunately, Japan Air Force and the German Air Force that even with as big of a navy as he has here, it'd be difficult for him to split into 2. That's the hope, at least. So there you go. Just a nice little quick KJF game.